Chapter 4, Performance-Based Assessment. My first question is, Miss Donna is doing a performance-based assessment for the day lesson. My answer is letter C. Students are to do actual demonstration of their skill. Because the students needs to demonstrate their skill in order to Miss Donna will see their capabilities or skills with their performance and to see if they really learned something in her class. My question number 2 is, which of the following statement is not true to alternative assessment? My answer is letter D. It is a new assessment approach in education. New approach assessment is not true in educational culture because even in the old culture on education, they are doing the assessment in order to see if the students learn something in school.
Good morning guys, so we're back again for another videos, and once again I'm John Payang from BP 1, and let's start. The question number 1 is, the most stable measure of central tendency is the mean, the median, the mode, or letter D, none of these. And my answer is A, the mean, because a measure of central tendency is a single value that attempts to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within that its set of data. As such, measures of central tendency are sometimes called measure of central location. Mean is the average of given sets of numbers. You should add the numbers, then divided by the number of the numbers. Then from the above definition, we have seen that mean considers only the most repeated number. Median consider the middle most numbers, then but mean is the average of all the numbers in the set, as mean uses all the observation in a given distribution. Hence, mean is considered as the most stable central tendency. The question is, which measure of central tendency is the most sensitive to extreme scores? Then the choices are mean, median, mode, and range. And my answer is the median, because extreme scores will skew the value to one side or the other. These are three main measures of central tendency, which are mean, median, and mode. And the median is the value of all middle of a distribution of data when those data are organized from the lowest to the highest value. Then is the ratio of mean to the median that is most commonly used to identify any skew in the data. And that's all. Thank you for listening. God bless us.
Good day everyone, my name is Magdian P. Pabustan from Bachelor of Physical Education 2-1. So, my first question is, it is calculated by adding all values, then adding the sum by the number of values. So, my answer is mean. In mathematics and statistics, the arithmetic mean or mean stress on first and third syllable of arithmetic, or simply the mean of the average. When the context is clear, is the sum of collection of numbers divided by the count of number in the collection. So, the collection is often a set of result of an experiment or an observational study, or frequently a set of a result from the survey. The term arithmetic mean or mean is preferred is so in some contexts in mathematics and statistics because it helps distinguish it from other means such as the geometric mean and the harmonic mean. While the arithmetic mean or mean is often used to report central tendencies, it is not a robust statistic, meaning that it is greatly influenced by outliers, values that are every much larger or smaller than most of the values. For skewed distribution, such as the distribution of income, from which a few people income are substantially greater than most people, the arithmetic means may not coincide with one's notion of middle, and robust statistics such as the median may provide better description of central tendency. The most stable measure of variability. So I think the standard deviation. In statistics, The standard deviation is a measure of the amount of variation is dispersion of a set of values. A low standard deviation indicates the values tend to be close to the mean, also called the expected values of the set, while a high standard deviation indicate that the values are spread out over the wage ranger. Cumulative probability of a normal distribution with expected values 0 and the standard deviation 1. The standard deviation may be abbreviated SD and is the most commonly represented in mathematical texts and equation by the lowercase Greek letter sigma. For the population standard deviation, or the Latin letter S for the sample standard deviation. The standard deviation of a random variable sample statistical population dataset or probability distribution is the square root of its variance. It is algebraically simpler though in practice less robust than the average absolute deviation. Useful property of the standard deviation is that unlike the variance, it is expressed in the same unit as the data. My third question or last question. It is used the median to classify a class into 4 groups. So my answer is range. Range is not a measure of the central tendency at all. It is an absolute measure of dispersion that is explained by the difference between the maximum and the minimum values in a series. Now, a comparison between the stability amongst mean, median, and mode depends on the nature of the distribution that you're working with. Let's say your data has a lot of outliers in such as case means will not serve the purpose well as a measure of CT. Median would be more appropriate. Remember that means is affected by extreme values while median is not. Mode is the most appropriate when you're more concerned about the frequency of occurrences. For example, if you wanted to know what size of shoes should be a shoes seller keep more stock compared to other size or the other size of the shoes. So that's all. Thank you for watching and God bless you all.
Hello, my name is John Benefacinto. I am BPE 21 and today I'll be answering 3 questions from chapter 3 and 4. So a rubric is an assessment tool that clearly indicates achievement criteria across all the components of any kind of student work. From written to oral to visual, it can be used for making assessments, class participation, or overall grades. For me, a performance test provides options of responses according to a website. A performance-based assessments have recently experienced a re-emergence in education literature and curricula. In the 1990s, performance-based assessments became a valid alternative to our traditional multiple-choice tests. In the years that followed, legislative requirements shifted the emphasis to standardized testing, which caused a decline in non-traditional testing methods. Darling, Hammond, and Adamson in 2013. Currently, more school districts and universities are seeking authentic measures of student learning, and performance-based assessments have become increasingly relevant. It also states that the definition of performance-based assessments varies greatly depending on author, discipline, publication, and intended audience. Palm 2008. In general, a performance-based assessment measures students' ability to apply the skills and knowledge learned from a unit or units of study. Typically, the task challenges students to use their higher order thinking skills to create a product or complete a process. June 2010. Although performance-based assessments vary, the majority of them share key characteristics. First and foremost, the assessment accurately measures one or more specific course standards. Additionally, it is complex, authentic, process and product-oriented, open-ended, and time-bound. Plan a task that can be used for instruction and assessment at the same time. For example, when our Professor Marcelino Balangkit gave us an assignment, and the instruction that he gave us was the same thing that he used to assess our work. If our step patterns were correct, if our counting was right, if it was the right music. And that's all. Thank you. Peace out.